Dear listeners, welcome to today's Tech Talk, Codility, No Time to Code. In this session, we will delve into the world of automation quality assurance assessments using Codility, a powerful tool designed to evaluate technical skills effectively. Today, we are excited to have Maria with us, who will share insights and strategies on how to excel in Codility assessments. And as we go along, please feel free to write down any questions you might have, and we will have a Q&A session at the end of Tech Talk, and your questions are more than welcome. So let's pass the virtual stage to our speaker. Maria, please.
Thank you, Camila. Let's start our webinar today, named like Codility, No Time to Code. Why I chosen so strange the name? Because I think that when time is come and you need to pass your assessment with Codility, you don't have enough time to code all necessary stuff what you want if you won't be prepared. So let's go through our webinar today and find out the ways what we can do to prepare ourselves better and what tips we can prepare before we will start our assessment, and we will be on time when we try to submit our solution. Let's speak shortly about me. I am Maria. I am a lead software test automation engineer, and my usual stack is based on Java, TestNG, Selenite, and Rest Assured as a library for backend side. And I'm in AQA area over 9 years. So, what's the start point of you to work with Codility and get the assessment with such tool? The first thing, you will get the email with invitation link and suggestion to go through some tasks and resolve them and provide your solutions, and you will be scored, and your scores will be the estimation system that will show your opportunities, your abilities, and your experience to provide solutions for some tasks. Which type of tasks will be chosen by interviewer, and the position what you were invited. So how such email will look. Here I provided you a sample of a real email with such invitation. Here you can see what the position requests you to pass through Codility assessment. Also some useful links to Codility, frequency asked questions. And the most valuable part is the invitation link. The best way and the best thing with this link, you can open it without any problems and without starting any assessment directly when you will just click on it. I will show you what you will see when you try to open such link. There is no any objections to open this invitation. It will be better even to open it, because you will get some very useful information for your assessment, and you can prepare yourself much more better in this case. When you open your invitation link, you will visit such page like this. It's a special demo page, but almost the same you will see on your assessment link. Here you will see the name of assessment, the time how many time you will have to pass assessment, and the very important thing is you cannot stop or pause somehow this time, and when you start your assessment the timer will go on and there is no any possible to stop it. So the best recommendation is to be sure that there is no any interruptions for you, that you have the good internet connection, maybe you have double internet provider or something like this. So be ready as much as it possible because you have only one time to complete your assessment. If you have some problems with your internet or something like this and can't to pass assessment and finish it because of some problems, you have opportunity to connect with your hiring manager, and this manager will help you, and maybe you will have a second chance to pass it. But the is best to not try the destiny and just be ready in the first time. Also, here we can see how many tasks you need to complete to provide your solution. And maybe some a little bit additional information like languages for solution and so on. And when you click on start button, you will go to Codility editor, and it still doesn't mean that you start your assessment. You will need to click some additional button to come to show that you are ready to start your assessment. And let's I show you the examples before I will show you examples of tasks to understand what type of tasks you can met. And then we will go through Codility editor a little bit deeper. So what about timing? Usually it typically takes half hour or maybe up to 2 hours. It will be depends on tasks and interviewers' choices, but you can verify that information when you open an invitation link. And what about required software? You just need to have a supported browser. There is no any additional setup required by interview, but related to my recommendations, it's better to use a specific editor that will much more helpful than a raw editor from Codility, and we will discuss it a little bit later. So let's look on the tasks. The first type of task what you can met inside of Codility will be simple quiz. When you have a question, choices, and you should choose the correct answer from a set of answers. The second type, almost the same, but here we have also a sample of code. You need to think what the result of code will be or something additional problem, and also decide which is answer is correct. And other type of task that can be difficult and take a lot of time, it is a code session where you have some points. It looks like a simple Jira task with a description of API handlers or maybe UI or something like this. If you are a developer, you can have a task related to developer tasks directly, but I'm talking about AQA, and this is a real example of requirements to tests what I had during my assessment to some company. And here you can see which requirements should be checked by provided by me tests. So let's look at the tool interface a little bit deeper. and understand how we can provide our solutions by using this tool. Here we have a place with description of task. On this place, we will have as many tasks as interviewer required. Related to me, I had two tasks. So I had two buttons, first and second, and there is no any order required to resolve these tasks. It's better to look on each of task and will be familiar with each of one of task and decide the order what you will try to resolve them to provide your results as much better as it will possible. And you also can estimate how many time you plan to spend on each type of tasks. So right now, as a demo, we have only one task. Description of task looks like that. It's a simple developer task, not so much about AQA exactly. Here you will have a place where you can provide your architecture of files. But what related to my assessment, I didn't have such frame, so I can't to provide some specific architecture and create new files. So I should have provide solution directly in one class. So all my classes, methods, and so on was placed in this Java file. Also here we have a main function. It's better and be careful. Do not modify the initial code related to this main function signature, because if you will change a signature of this method, your Codility and test environment probably doesn't understand you and can't to launch your code and get the results and also provide scores for your solution. So just keep that as it is and change all other stuff. What specific related to this editor? There is no any highlights here. All stuff you should write directly by your hands. Also, you should use only standard libraries. So some additional libraries can be provided by interviewer, of course. In my case, it was JUnit 4, not JUnit 5. So be ready to work with different libraries. And as my task was about API, I also had touched REST Assured library. But all imports you should provide by yourself in manual way. Also, you have a run button, but doesn't mean that you send your solution and provide your results. That doesn't mean that you resolve the task correctly if you will have green results here and OK status. The results you will get only when timer was finished. And to submit task, you need to click on submit task button directly, or if your time will be changed, finished, ended, only after that, these buttons will be clicked automatically, even for previous tasks. Do you resolve them or not? So be sure in the latest 5 minutes what status do you have per each task, and is it finished situation for you, finished view, and finished answers. So be ready to submit your tasks in appropriate way. And what related to the code, it's all very important to keep it compilable all time, because if you will have some error, for example, like this, when you will run code, it cannot be compiled, and when you will run out of time, submit task will be clicked automatically, and the scoring system can't understand how good your solution is because it's not compiled. Even if you resolve all required points. Related knowledge base. As Codility says, you may use books, you may use websites, you may use additional knowledge bases. Instead, if you don't have other instructions related to this point, but you should resolve tasks by your own. So there is no call a friend opportunity. And it's a standard situation, but it's better to know. When you start your assessment, the screen will be sharing, and video camera will be working, and the microphone also will be working. All stuff will be recorded, and you will be aware about all of this also by Codility. It was a little bit surprise to me, but because I had awareness from Codility, I just was prepared. What about our system under test? So if you need to write tests, you also need some system related to that you can run these tests. And Codility will provide for you related to the task specific environment. In my case, it was some real service, backend service, and it will be available just by clicking run code button. But was a problem to me. uh, I can run code and I can get results of that system, but it took maybe 30 seconds. So if I just click 10 times this button, I will spend 4 minutes. And if you have 35 minutes and several tasks to resolve, it's important because you will spend a lot of time just to verify your code. And I have also a solution or suggestion how to optimize this point a little bit later. I will discuss it also. And the last one is favorites. What if I want to use my favorite editor? Because I can see Codility editor is not so smart and useful and friendly and so on. Codility says, yes, you can use your favorite editor. There is no problem here. And this is the best point to us, because with our favorite editor, we can use a lot of features inside of these editors and use powerful idea that to get our results much more faster instead of writing them directly by hands. And I will show you that also a little bit later. So let's go on. Should I verify the validity of input data? For example, you can have some data as input, and Codility says that there is no any requirements to verify input data. You should understand that provided data is correct, and there is no any specific situations when it will be tried to broke your code by input data, but it's related only to input data. What can be input, like through arguments like this, for example. Will my coding style and syntax error affect my score? Main as a main situation, no. Your style will be estimated if interviewer will decide to implement such estimations. But basically, uh, scoring Codility system can't understand how beautiful your code is and something like this. How do I save my code? Um, all code and all stuff what you will write here can be saved automatically, and you can verify it by viewing at this angle. And if we have such message, it means that all changes were saved. If you have any problems with internet, you can just, or maybe browser was just broken and you get exception with browser, you can just reopen your indentation link and continue your assessment. But if you will wait, your time still will go on. So try to open and return to your task as fast as it possible. What if I run out of time? As I already said, submit task button will be clicked automatically and all your solutions will be send it to scoring system. So if you have compilable code or something like this, you have a big problem because robot can't understand that you are finished your tasks and all is good. You just accidentally press additional button on your keyboard or something like this. Um, how many tasks and what order to resolve them? Task we can see here, and there is no matter in what order you will resolve all of them. But if you feel that you don't have enough time, try to understand which tasks you will resolve. It's better to get as much scores as it possible and provide the solutions that you're confident. Don't try to resolve the difficult task at the beginning and spend all of time and don't get any scores. If you have such goal as get maximum. And how many points did I earn? I will show you right now how the summary page will look if you pass your assessment. And if interviewer decide to show you your test summary, you will see the page something like this. You will see scores related to each task, and you will see total score. So you can estimate and understand um, uh, how many scores you earn. So we'll look a little bit at Codility editor, but as I already said, it's not the best editor to provide your solution in fast way, in short way, and better solution and decision to use IDE. For example, like IntelliJ, I will show you my tips and my thoughts about optimization code with Codility based on IntelliJ idea. And I think you can use almost the same thing in other editors. For example, if you are using Eclipse or something like this. Let's go to editor. At first, if we know what we should pass assessment through Codility and we already plan to use our specific editor, it's better to prepare local project on your system to be ready to write tests as faster as it possible. For example, I think you can use Maven or Gradle. It doesn't matter, and you can provide as many dependencies as you think that you need, because you don't know what exactly libraries will be used. But rest assured, stng or something like this, um, it's predictable libraries, and you can put it here and download all of them, so you won't spend a time for your dependencies, but you will have worked highlighting in your system. If we will look at here, so there is no any highlights here, and I can write anything, and you can't understand or you can't use auto completion, but here you can. So the first thing is choose your editor, prepare local project, and if you are usually writes tests as me, and you have some typical for you structure of tests, you can provide a simple test with such structure directly in your prepared local project, and this also will allow you save your time to spend it later directly on solution, on the things that you should resolve during this task, and don't spend a time for providing a best architecture, best classes, and so on. For example, usually I'm writing tests like this. I had some arrange section where I can, if we are talking about API, where I can prepare some data objects. Then I had usually some service class, like here. And this class allows me to use API my class to get, put, or post any request with it. After that, we can use then and verify some data. For example, status code, it's usual rest assured method. And for example, we can use spec. It's my typical solution of tests. And with spec, I had usually should have class. And inside of this class, I had some method that allows me to provide response specifications. When I'm trying to prepare to assessment, I don't know anything about tasks, so I don't have any real methods here, but I can have some simple method like data, like anything here, anything here. So, and when I will have information about my objects, I can rename it or copy it. And to copy my methods in fast way, I can use shortcuts in Mac OS 6. It's Command D. In Windows, Control D. So I just click Command D, and I already had a ready method for my book and verify the size of my collection. Um, and you can estimate how many time I will need if I'm not ready, if I don't have such preparation, and I need to just write all of it by hands in raw editor. So if I will start it right here, I can spend 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, or something like this. And if I will mistake, for example, I try to write book and I will skip one letter, and I will try to call this method from my class. This class should have, and I try write book and I quote. There is no any problems here, but as we remember, my method has another name. But I'm thinking that all is good, all is okay. I don't have any highlights here, and when I try to run code, I will spend 30 seconds just to understand that I had mistake in my name. 30 seconds or something like this. It's much more better to hear to use it here and understand it, or even better to have auto completion of your methods. So the best solution is use IntelliJ IDEA or tool, something like this, because I will have all necessary stuff, or like this. So okay, let's fix it. And also because I have a fast system of navigation, I can go to these methods without any problem. When you will have a lot of strings lines here, for example 100, and it's even too small value of lines, if you need to provide maybe 10 tests or something like this, you will just scrolling down to your methods and understand where is you had the problem. And you also may be a little bit nervous because you have the time maybe soon will be finished. And it's much more difficult to work in such atmosphere. Mm. So, okay, the first thing, prepare the architecture that usually you are used. If you want to write tests in the way that you are usually write your tests, just prepare your architecture to be ready, provide the necessary tests, and work exactly on them instead of providing all classes what you need. The second thing that I think is a good solution to provide the logging feature to your tests, so you can debug your tests and understand what the problems you have. It allows you to understand how to fix or how to write tests for specific test environment what will be provided by Codility. To do so, you can use such line like this, and you also can don't remember for in your head, just write this line at the beginning on preparation stage, and you will have response and requests in your Codility console output. For example, this helps me to resolve such issue that I had with real Codility environment. Inside of Codility environment was provided specific URL for service, and this URL doesn't had, or maybe even had at the end, specific symbol like slash. And when I accidentally changed this URL to an otherwise situation, for example, if URL had this slash in URL, I just remove it or even add it. I don't remember exactly, but difference was in slash at the end of line. I had a strange error inside Codility environment. It just sent me wrong results, like redirect or something like this. I got 302 error code, and I can't understand why my test is not working. What's the problem? Maybe I send wrong data and I don't have any highlights here. Before I had a lot of types of mistakes inside of names, and I fix all of them. So I just was a little bit confusing. What's the problem? Maybe Codility just had broken and there is no right now such services, and service had a problem, or I should to provide the test that will be ready to the situation with redirection and so on. And I spent maybe 10 minutes just to resolve this rewrote problem. And when I understand that problem just in the slash symbol, I of course fix it. But I spent a lot of time. But without such logging, it was almost impossible to me to understand what's the problem with symbol in URL, because I don't see the URL directly. It was hidden. And right now I will share with you another tip that you can do and should, as I think, do for such things that I had in my situation. Sometimes probably you can have situation when some data will be provided to you, but not available. You can't see directly. What I mean, it won't be written like some variable equal to some data, as in my case. And to understand, you see what this data is using in test code that provided here by interviewer, but there is no value of this object. You don't see the definition and don't know. To understand it, you need to provide something like this: system out println and so on, or maybe use login system and so on. But what another problem you will have with such data, which hidden by definition. When you try to write your code in your favorite editor, and if you don't also provide definition of this variable, you will have an error inside your editor. As you can see here, API root I'm using several times. And right now I can't understand, do I have any mistakes in my code except of this API root. So if I will present it directly in my class like this, so okay, I don't have any problem. I can copy it. I will resolve this one to hide other problems. So if I don't have such line, we have a problem. If I will provide it directly here, I don't have a problem, but I have another problem. If I will try to copy all my code from my editor to run code in Codility, it's already finished time. But if I will provide it here in Codility, I will replace the base definition of API root what was provided inside Codility. And I need to remove it or comment it again and again because I can have mistakes and so on. So it's better solution to you to have base test class where you can put such hidden data and provide their values directly here. So if you already had such class, you don't create it during assessment because you already created before. And when you will met such values, you can put it in such classes. And where I will copy my code, it will be compatible with the Codility editor. And all will be work in Codility without any problem. Other thing what you will met during assessment related to import. All imports in Codility you should provide by yourself in manual way, or you will Google them or search on Maven repository or related sites, or you can use your editor and just copy them, all of them, from your editor. But be sure that you are using only the libraries provided by interviewer. In my case, it was only Rest Assured, it was Hamcrest. That's why I had this import here, and GUnit. So the next thing, when I try to write my tests, I need to provide that object. And to fill this object, I need to choose some data, some random data. And I can't use specific libraries like Faker or something like this. So in my case, I resolved to use integrated in standard Java util random UID method. And I think it's a best solution because you can provide this import and these lines inside of your structure and just change the methods to the another what you will need related to your task. For example, like this and so on. So it also allows you to keep a lot of time because you know what data you will use. It's not hard-coded strings, and it's provided to you from standard Java library. And what about numbers? The same thing you can provide to numbers. To don't use hard-coded stuff if you don't need specific value related to your test case. For example, you want just verify happy pass or something like this, like I do it here. So I just need to have random book and I need to fill it with random data. I had already provided by myself random object here and can use it, and it will be provided to me random values. The next thing, usually when I try to write tests, I'm using Lombok library. But with Codility and the situation that I had, there is no any opportunity to use Lombok. But if you will look on my structure, I using Lombok widely, and I'm using setters, getters, and builders from Lombok. And when I tried just to write all of this stuff just for one DTO class, I spent too much time when I tried to make it manual way. I need to write 60 lines of code, and it takes too much time, and I had a lot of errors that I can find out only when I try to click on run it button. That's why it's better to start work at the beginning inside your favorite editor. But what you can do to provide the way what you want to write. For example, in my case, I need setters, getters, and builder. Maybe in your situation, you will need another stuff or something like this. But if you will prepare to your assessment and understand the situation, understand the tools what you will have, and the way what you will present to your interviewers, you can decide and try to find out the ways how you can make your work much more faster than you usually do. Usually I'm using Lombok, but right now I know it's not possible to use it in such tools like Codility and so on. But I find out the way what will provide me the same result just in 30 seconds maybe, and it will be allows me to keep the structure of tests that I like, and keep my code as clean as it possible related to my viewpoint. I will show you this way, and maybe you can use my ideas to apply it to your situation directly. So, what I find out? The first thing, I will try to generate setters and getters and few clicks. Let's copy my class. Based on my task, I had just 3 fields. If you will have much more fields, it takes much more time to write it by your hands. But you can just click on your class, choose from context actions, generate generate action, and here you can choose getter and setter. Here you should choose all of your fields, and just few clicks enough to get all setters and getters. I don't know such thing earlier because I just using Lombok. Right now, I know that it's so simple to generate it if you start to work from the beginning, and this is a good solution for such cases like code fastly with such tools like Codility, or maybe if you are visited a hackathon or something like this. The next thing is a little bit harder. I need to have builders for my classes because I'm writing code like this. So I had random book, but I want to change some specific values from it. Or when I am creating random book, I am using builder pattern. And to write such beautiful things, I need to add additional class as book.to builder. And we also can do it just in few clicks. I will show you it. To start create our builder, we need to create correct constructor, and we can do it by the same function action that we previously used. We are going to generate or shortcut command, and on Mac OS X systems, on Windows can be other shortcuts, so be aware of your versions of hotkeys. And here I just need to choose constructor. And here I need to choose all of my fields. Here I have a constructor, and this constructor will allow me to get a builder just in few clicks. Now I need to choose another action. I need refactor action, but I will show you how I can do it by clicking hotkeys. On Mac OS X system, I just need to click Alt Enter and choose replace constructor with builder. Here I can choose optional setter because maybe I don't know all of these fields are required or something like this. And just click refactor. So right now I had a builder for my class, and I can copy it and pass it at any class what I need. But if you don't have opportunity to provide additional files as I had, I just need to copy it inside of my class. Yes, maybe it's a little bit extra actions and so on. But you need to decide what you will do and how your test will be looked. So in my case, when I decided to provide tests in such style, I were glad to have such ideas to be with my solution in time. Because when I started to write all of these classes and spent a lot of times, I think, or 35 minutes, I can do all this stuff just as faster. My tests were so beautiful and so on. I was wrong. I spent a lot of time to resolve my accidental errors with rewrote code, with creating all of these classes. I don't know that I had limited libraries. I don't know about problems with highlighted. I don't have prepared specific projects and so on. It's almost all time I just spent to resolve all of this stuff. And when I start to write my test, my time almost was completed. And the next thing that you need to understand when you start to write your code is prioritization. So, if I'm not sure that I have enough time to write all of these classes and provide tests in such beautiful way, it's much more better to me just to write tests, check them, and maybe only after that start to optimize them or something like this and provide beautiful architecture and so on. Because it's better to have green tests when broken tests but beautiful architecture. And as we remember, automatic system can't understand what you just provided because he tries to run your test to system under test and estimate you automatically. So I think right now these all tips from my side related your preparation, what you can do before you start your assessment to optimize and save your time as much as it possible. Maybe you will have a little bit another situations and will be a little bit more prepared to your assessments when I had. And I hope that my thoughts will helpful for you. Um, so let's go through my points in short. The first thing, always keep your code compilable. It's very important because if you will have any problems with compiler, you don't have any scores at all. The next thing, try to prepare your local project beforehand. It will help for you and save a lot of your time. And you can spend your additional time, what you will get as a result, to resolve directly your tasks. And don't fight with a raw Codility or some system like that editor. Prioritize wisely. So, as I said, I decided that I had a lot of time and I can write all classes what I need. But when I decided how many time I need to spend to provide the work that Lombok is usually did, uh, it was very late for me. So it's better to provide such classes or use such auto generation actions inside of your editor to resolve these questions directly during assessment, but in fast way. If you don't have enough time, it's better to write working tests, but not so beautiful. And of course, if you feel that you don't have enough time to resolve all of your tasks, choose the one what you will resolve, and you had enough time to resolve them. Because it's better to have resolved tasks than don't have anyone. And use your editor widely, because it's very powerful. Find out the new ways how to do some things much more faster, that instead of just writing manually using such tools like Lombok and so on. I think there is no problem to use such libraries on projects, but when you have such restrictions and such tools like Codility and automatic assessments, it's better to use integrated features of your ID, and this is really your friend in such assessments. So thank you very much. I'm ready to get your questions and answer if you have anyone.
Thank you, Maria. Now we've reached the exciting part of our session, the Q&A. This is your chance to ask Maria any questions you have about Codility assessments or anything else related to our talk today. So please don't hesitate to share your questions in the comment section, and so we can dive into our Q&A now. We have a few questions, so let's take a look at the first one. Is it possible to use other languages in Codility?
If you mean other languages instead of Java, it will be based on your interviewers, because if you had a position for Python, probably you will have a tasks on Python or something like this. If your position assumes that you can use a few different languages, at the top of Codility editor, you will have drop down with options which language you plan to use to resolve your tasks.
Thank you. Let's move on to the next question now. How to handle bugs during a Codility assessment? So probably it's related to a situation when there is an error after compiling the code.
Mhm. If you are you talking about compiler? It's better to have any such tools like request filter and response filter if you have API tests, or use system out println to provide additional information about your variables and about your system, to have opportunity to resolve problems. For example, when I had a problem with slash in URL, it helped me a lot.
Okay, thank you for sharing your tips. So let's switch to our next question. Do you recommend using tools for project interviews, or it's better to have live session?
Based on my opinion, it's much more better to have live session, because you have opportunity to provide your thoughts related to task, and sometimes it's very helpful to interviewer, because he can understand how you thinking, and it's much more profitable. What related about automation interviews, probably this a fast way if you need to filter people from a lot of people. Mm, as for me, I prefer to have live session. It's much more easier right now.
Thank you. So, as I understand, it can be quite powerful to reduce the list of potential candidates, but it's better to have both live and some automated tool for the interview. Okay, another question is, what is the biggest challenge in Codility for you?
Mm. To me, it was correct prioritization. So probably if I understand the system better, or I make a better decision related to the situation, maybe I were more successful. So prioritization main key.
Okay, thank you, Maria. And we have the last question, so let's turn our attention to it. Can you share your main tricks in effective time management within the interview?
Um, Time management. When I'm going to invitation link and I already know how many time I have, I just say to all my family that I need this time to resolve the difficult task and so on. So there is no any interruptions. After that, when I started and I was ready to go through assessment, at first, I read all tasks and estimate all of them and resolve the easiest for me is about quiz. Um, and only after that, I start to work with difficult tasks. And when you work with code and you need provide tests, maybe it's better to have at least one first green test, and of only after that try to add something new.
Okay, it seems that we've finished with the remaining questions for today. So, dear listeners, you can leave your comments or new questions in the section, and we will go through them after the tech talk. So, we would like to say thank you to all of you for your participation in our Codility session, and a special thank you to Maria for sharing your expertise and guiding us through this topic. Your insights have been inspiring, and yeah, we really appreciate your effort and time.
Thank you
So,
very much, Camila.
one of the best ways for appreciations and one of the options to say thank you to our speaker is by sending a page via their community or internal heroes portal. So your support and recognition are greatly appreciated. So let's continue learning and growing together. Thank you once again and see you next month. Goodbye.